Hello everyone and welcome to Sunup. I'm Lyndall Stout. Despite the rains we saw across parts of the state this past week, soil conditions still remain very dry. And as producers start planting wheat, they're making nitrogen decisions for both dual purpose and grain only systems. For some guidance, here's our soil nutrient management specialist, Dr. Brian Arnall.
As we look at the recent weather patterns, we've had some nice rainfall events, some of significant amounts falling across the state, which has given a lot of producers hope, optimism about having some moisture to go into the wheat crop, having some moisture to finish out the pasture crop. And so there's a lot of decisions being made right now as far as nutrient management and how are we going to go with that for both pasture, wheat forage, and grain only. One of the techniques that Oklahoma State University has promoted for quite a while is fall fertilization so that we can stockpile that forage. So we have a nice growth through the fall of that Bermuda grass or fall growth so we can stockpile going into the winter. Typically that's done with a little shot of nitrogen, maybe some phosphorus and potassium. But we've gone through an exceptionally dry summer. And so the question is, nutrient price, fertilizer price is quite high. What should I invest in and how and where are we at? We still have time to get some fall growth and fall stockpiling. Although I'm not sure that nitrogen should be our biggest concern right now, as we've not used much. If you fertilized fully or even 50% in the spring or in the summer for your forage, I'm not sure we need to be worried about a lot more going in. Make sure you have a soil test or you know what your soil test levels are. I would then be looking if your phosphorus and potassium is low, getting that on this fall so it's in the soil. So if that plant has potassium, that is often associated with drought stress, so being able to get that in. Phosphorus is also associated with good root growth. If we can keep a good biomass height, meaning 4 inches of crop above the ground, it will help us if we don't come out of this. Now, if we look at our grazing, there's a lot of movement right now because we've had moisture to put in our grazing wheat, our graze out wheats. The moisture is a good thing. It's definitely helpful. The thing that concerns me is if even today, if you look at our 32-inch and our 24-inch soil moisture levels, we're not getting to depth yet. We need 5, 6, 7, 8 inches of slow rains to really fill that profile up to what we need to have a good season of the winter pasture. So my recommendations right now, A, soil test if you haven't already, look at that phosphorus potassium, take care of the phosphorus. For that grazing wheat, one of your most important nutrients is not nitrogen, it is phosphorus. Make sure your phosphorus levels are adequate. If your pH is low, make sure you add some phosphorus because it's too late for lime. Nitrogen wise, you need some nitrogen to promote good summer growth, so I'd put down 50 units or so, but I would not go too heavy because we do not have the reserves in our soil to support big forage production yet. If it starts raining, then we have time in the fall and winter to get on more nitrogen, but just get a little bit in the soil to make sure that that forage production can get going and we can move on. Grain only. This goes back to a couple blogs that I've just posted in that we have even last year more data to support that pre-plant nitrogen is not essential for grain only wheat. If we have 10 to 20 pounds of residual in the soil, that's enough to get a October planted crop into the winter and out in the spring and fertilize it then, so we have time to wait. My concern is, again, if we don't have subsoil moisture now and we don't get subsoil moisture, our yield potential will be limited again next season. So why put all your eggs in that nitrogen basket when we have the capability to wait? Normally, I am a fan of banding phosphorus, especially when your phosphorus levels are low. Banding is very efficient. But even when your soil test is near adequate, I would still recommend putting on a little phosphorus because our fields are highly variable. It's an input that when its cost to output is looked at, it has a lot of value. So put on those marginal fields that have that almost average soil test pH and phosphorus, get on 50 pounds of 1846-0, 50 pounds of 1152, something to get phosphorus in furrow. If you don't have in-furrow capability and your phosphorus and pH is low, still Go out there, spread phosphorus on the surface, but you need at least 30 pounds of P2O5, which is going to put you about that 60 or 70 pounds of product rate.